Look,
pass.
I'm already resigned to the fact they're not safe. They don't have the guts.
No,
so
you're trying.
It's
Robbie,
fine.
Robbie,
It's
you
fine.
know what he's doing, right? Hedging his bet.
What's the hedge? What's the hedge?
Right. Because you've all put yourself in two places right now. The first place is, I told you they would pick him. I told you, right? That's Friday.
I don't care.
Next
No,
Friday.
No,
I'm telling you right now. That's
I don't
next
care
Friday.
about that.
And here's the other one. If they don't take him, didn't have the guts.
That's
There are
right.
two sides.
I don't need two sides.
Let me get this straight. You would take Tua,
100%.
right? And do you understand? If it is your job to put the best person on the field or to draft the best player available, that you wouldn't be drafting the best player available based on the information you have.
I have the information available at me.
No, you don't.
I
No,
do.
you don't, because your doctors couldn't check him.
Stefania Bell said yesterday on SportsCenter he's doing fine.
Oh, how many teams is she running? What team is she running?
She's
Who's she
ESPN's.
GM for?
She is
Is she a team
ESPN's.
doctor?
She
Is
is
she a Dolphins
ESPN's
team doctor?
She is ESPN's injury expert. She says he's doing fine.
Okay, yeah,
Doing
All
fine,
right. There you
Leroy.
go. That's great. Let's pick him.
I will.
Stefania Bell said he's perfect.
What about that
Let's
quack?
pick him.
That quack from San Diego.
Screw that guy.
No, I think.
What did he say?
I think I was wondering what he said. I'm pretty sure he said something along the same thing, that his only concern is like that long term arthritis. Nothing really to worry about on the field.
Bro, I have arthritis. No worries. you take a couple bears, you move on. You wear one of those Brett Favre sleeves. You good?
Chow, that guy.
Hey, yeah, that's what always daily aspirin always kept me going. What the hell's wrong with you? Like,
what's he gonna do? Sleep upside down for a couple hours every week? Like Leroy? No worries. He's gotta get a spaceship chair.
Hey, I'm telling you, this is asinine.
Does Leroy have more therapy equipment than an actual rehab center? Yes.
Yes, I do.
But no worries. He'll be all right.
I'm telling you, like, the more I think about it, look, if you want to pick Tua, I'm fine with that. But how you just overlook a bunch of facts surrounding him, that's what pisses me off.
Look, I know what's going to happen. Here's what's going to happen.
Stefania Bell said he was healthy, so you believe he's healthy?
Yeah. Why would Stefania Bell lie? She's a neutral party. Here's what's going to happen.
She gave him a physical?
I believe Stefania Bell has... Do you have Stefania Bell, Robbie?
Yeah.
I'd like to... Injury expert Stefania Bell says Tua's doing great.
After the surgery, and again, the surgery was performed by Dr. Rout, who specializes in pelvic and hip trauma and repair. So to him, Tua's injury was very straightforward, not a big deal, whereas it could have been a far more complex surgery for somebody who isn't doing that all the time. He felt like there was a good repair. They saw everything they wanted along the way in terms of healing, both fracture healing and the health of the joint. There's no evidence of cartilage damage. So all of these things, when you're 3 to 4 months out from the original surgery, start to paint a better picture of the health of the hip going forward.
Boom.
Except one small thing. Jadeveon Clowney ain't chasing him.
The hips, it's like brand new. They already got the best of the best doing it. The creme de la creme, Leroy. You know what that is?
Okay.
You know what that is? The cream of the crop.
Yeah, okay. All right. I got you. Look.
But look, you're right. Look, hey, you don't have to. Let me just tell you right now. You don't have to worry your pretty little head over it, because Chris Grier doesn't have the guts. All right, he's going the safe route. You know what Chris Grier doesn't like to do?
Right.
He doesn't like to go whitewater rafting. You know what he likes to do? Likes to go on a nice little ferry down the river.
Lazy River?
Lazy River. He likes to go. He doesn't want the excitement of a flume.
How about this?
He just wants to cruise.
Can you please explain to me? All right, I'm confused. Because How do you feel about Mike Tannenbaum?
Bum.
Right? And that guy swung for the fences all the time.
He didn't.
No,
didn't.
No,
He didn't.
no. He swung for the
appeared.
fences all the time.
No, you're wrong. Here's what Mike Tannenbaum would do. He appeared to swing for the fence with knowing he can't catch up to the fastball. So what he would do was he would put a lot of money in a low risk move, like Ndamukong Suh. He's like, I'll pay all the money for Ndamukong Suh. No one's going to be able to tell whether it's a good signing or not because he doesn't put up stats, and I'll look like I'm Big Tans. I'm doing my job.
Again,
Mike Tannenbaum runs a shell game.
Somebody who took more hacks in free agency than Mike Tannenbaum.
He doesn't take big hacks. What he does is he takes big hacks in batting practice. So he goes in there. He's got his own guy. Oh, I'll sign this guy. I'll sign Kiko Alonso to a big fat contract, and I'll sign my own guys to a big fat contract, and then I'll go get the big guy who puts up no stats to a big contract. Trust me. Texter writes in, we can't believe Stefania Bell, but Leroy believes Mike Lombardi. Agreed.
I never said. No.
You guys are seeing right through.
No, don't put that on me.
He's very biased with Mike Lombardi. Mike Lombardi drafted him.
Here,
just
let me say something. I never said I believed anybody, but I based my opinion on actual facts. For example, one of the biggest issues that teams are having with Tua is their own doctors can't check him. The people that they trust the most in evaluating injuries, they can't have those guys check him. So, regardless of what anybody says, if the Dolphins doctors can't check this guy and you don't even know if he's healthy yet, the only facts that you have is the surgeries that he's had. That's it. You don't know how healthy he is, anything like that. So if that raises a red flag, only because you can't do the proper medical checkup on him to see where his health is, that's all I'm saying. Like, I would be more pissed off at my franchise, right? If they just drafted a guy that had injury issues without being able to check him. You should be appalled by that if your franchise did that.
I'm not appalled.
Because that would be a bad sign more than anything.
Robbie, why don't we get to some headlines, and then I got to get to these. I don't know if I'll have time to get to these two charlatans who do the show after us, but trust me, they'll get theirs. Zaslow and Jethra, a couple of big mouths on those two. So we'll get to them, but Robbie, hit us with some headlines first.
So, apparently, many NFL executives believe that Justin Herbert is going to be drafted ahead of Tua Tagovailoa. And Tom Pelissero of NFL Network polled a dozen general managers and executives from different teams, and 7 of them predicted that Herbert will be drafted ahead of Tua Tagovailoa.
Yeah, it was one of those Chris Grier. 7 sheep is what I like to call him.
Really?
I want to know for Chris Grier if it gets hot under all that wool here in the South Florida sun. Bah. Let's see what you got. I already know what you're gonna do because I know who's got the onions in that draft room. Stephen Ross told Chris Grier, "Hey, why don't we go get Lamar Jackson?" He goes, "Oh, why don't we take a safety who's versatile?"
Let me ask you a question. You think Lamar Jackson would have? You think Lamar Jackson would have won the MVP here?
If you would have had Coach Flo?
Oh my goodness. This is going to be the end of me. Like, how people think. Think. Like, one of the biggest things you hear coaches say, right? We players that can fit our system. Now, if you had to look at a coach who had the ability to adjust their system, it would be Baltimore. Stability, you have a guy who's won a Super Bowl, a guy who could take that chance, right?
Sure.
Every team can't do that. You think a first-year coach is going to change their whole system for Lamar Jackson? So he had to go to a good situation. I'm not saying he's not great. But what I am saying is that he had to go to a situation that had the ability to make the adjustments as a team to fit his skill set.
Look.
You think the Dolphins at any point in time in the last 5 years had the ability to do that based on where they were as a franchise?
They went with the safe pick in Minka Fitzpatrick. They said he was a leader. They said that he brought championship DNA, and they whiffed completely. He was a crybaby. Good player. But one of the things that they said was this guy, he was going to bring a winning attitude to the locker room. And instead, it was loser's mentality because he couldn't stand losing one game, getting embarrassed, and having his feelings hurt. That's on Chris Grier. But it's okay. Look, Baltimore gets the MVP. Baltimore gets the MVP. We get the MVS. You know what that is?
What?
Most valuable sheep. Nah.
I'm glad it's Friday. I'm going to go power walk when I'm done here.
I'm making you hate white people?
No. You! Not white people.
Ruben,
Not all white people.
I had to cure my racism with power walking.
Like even the person that interviewed him looked at him and said, "Excuse me?"
Poor Robin Roberts. She's like, I'm sitting here, journalist, and what am I doing?
Yeah.
The Taken guy is telling me he cured racism with power walking. What else you got, Robbie?
Right after he said, do you want to pay, are you going to give up some of your money to give equal pay to women? No.